Hey folks, Will Brink here, www.brinkzone.com. Today we're going to cover how supplements get made and basically how they end up to you. And I'm going to give you some good tips on how to basically get the best quality supplements for your money. And I think most people who are not in the industry are going to learn quite a bit from this video as to what the reality is of how supplements get produced. And I'm going to use my handy board here to illustrate how this works and give you some tips at the end I think that you'll find useful. But most people are under the impression that, of course, that when they buy a supplement from a supplement company, as the name implies, that that product is being made by the company. It's an obvious mistake to make. You want to say I buy creatine or I buy carnitine or whatever from this company and they make the product. Well, it's not actually the truth. It's not necessarily a negative per se, and I'll get into that in a minute. So let me show you how this works. Basically, first you're going to start with, let's call these your source material companies, okay? Now basically, just for illustration here, you're going to have, let's say this company makes, creatine, this company makes carnitine, this company makes vitamin C, and so on. Now there are multiple companies that might make multiple ingredients, but again, for sake of discussion, for you to understand, just consider one company per source. Then what you have is, that would be basically contract manufacturers. Okay, this right here, that's going to be your supplement company as you know it. The ads, the websites, what have you. Now, how this generally works is supplement company wants to make a product. They have a contract manufacturer make the product for them. Contract manufacturer purchases, like so, makes the product, goes to the supplement company. Now, this is not necessarily a different model than a lot of industries use, of course, to produce products. So outcome from here is, is your product right here that you purchase. Formula, single ingredient, doesn't matter. Now, so this is how most of the supplement company works, the vast majority of it. Yes, there are a few companies that may own the actual manufacturing facility, but very few. There are essentially no real companies out there that make all their own ingredients, own the contract manufacturing, and so on and so on. That's so rare as to, let's just say, non-existent. There are, like I say, a few that own this. There is nothing inherently wrong with this model. If a company is sourcing from high quality sourcing companies, using Ajinomoto amino acids from Japan versus some of the lesser quality stuff from China, they're using Creapure from Germany versus lesser quality stuff from China, and so on, and they use a high quality GMP contract manufacturing company, and I'm going to throw this in here, they do some third-party testing of this product that is produced from these GMP manufacturers just to make sure everything in their product is the dose that you're supposed to get, quality, contaminants and stuff. There is no reason at all that you don't end up with a very high-quality product, and this is how some companies work. The problem is when you are sourcing from low-quality sources and or maybe using the cheapest possible manufacturing facility that bid on your product, and you don't do any third-party testing once the product comes out to see what's going on, then you have problems. Then you end up with junky products that may not be up to dose, they may have contaminants, and so on and so on. So either way, this model can be perfectly fine and end up with very good quality products, or it can be junk. So, excuse me. The reality is, and this is where you're going to learn something, I recommend people use companies that are fairly transparent about where they source from. Companies, a lot of good companies, or not a lot, the good companies, which are not a lot, will be very transparent about where they get their source materials. They will always tend to use, high-end GMP certified manufacturers, and they will do regular third-party testing of their products to make sure that they are getting what they are paying for, and so on. A lot of companies, of course, bother me personally when they're trying to give this impression, of course, to people that they are they are all this. They are the supplement company, and you think there's a bunch of lab technicians and scientists, and they're making their products for you. Well, again, this is not really the way it works. The majority of the sub industry works in this fashion, which again is perfectly fine. You can get extremely high quality products, but again, I will tend to use those companies that are fairly transparent about where they source. They will put right on their labels, that they use Creapure creatine versus some other thing or what have you. Or if you call them up and ask them where they source, they're perfectly happy to tell you. That's what I consider a company I'm willing to use. A company that is not transparent, that will not tell me or let me know where they're sourcing from, and that type of thing is, for me personally, going to be a problem. So that is basically how the industry works. You can find out usually where things are sourced and such by carefully reading the labels or asking them and such. And if they are dodgy about it or elusive about it, don't want to tell you, well, in my view, that's just not a company I'm going to be using supplements from. So hope this info helped. If it did, please hit the the Twitter and the like buttons and all that. And see you all on the Brink Zone. Now, for more information on this topic, head on over to www.brinkzone.com, where you'll find my blog, more videos, free reports on fat loss, muscle building supplementation, fitness, health, and longevity, as well as a ton of articles in my free weekly fitness newsletter. And I'll see you all on the Brink Zone.